friends. Today's topic is about programmer logic control. Program logic control is a micro-based system that uses programmable memory to store instructions and implement functions such as logic, sequence, timing, and also such as logic, sequence, timing, and auto control machines process PLCs can be conducted in following. They are good withstand industrial environments such as heat, humidity, machine stocks, vibration, interfacing for inputs and outputs inside the controller. They are easily programmed PLCs capable of logic and PID control. Typical PLC. As we can see the diagram of typical PLC. Form of PLCs. The first developed in 1988, they are widely used two types, single box type and small programmable control is applied as an integrated compact complete with power supply processor and inputs output units. Typical they have 6, 8, 12 or 24 or 8 or 16 outputs. Memory some are 3 2000 instructions. For all sizing of programmable control systems consist of separate modules for power supply, processor, inputs, output, etc. They are mounted on rails with a metal cabinet schematics, input and output process. PLC is continuously running through its program and updating its result of input signals. Each loop is cycle and two methods of processing. Continuously updating to mass updating and continue updating is input signal. They are occur in program instructions. Each input examined individual delay time 3 minutes as its the output is latched, so they retain the status until the next update. Input and output process. The mass input output copying, it works in the following process: scan all the inputs, copy into RAM, fetch and decode and execute all program instructions in sequence, copying output instructions to RAM. And once the program is executed, the CPU performs diagnostics and communication task, updating all outputs, repeat the sequence. And input outputs, the inputs and outputs are identified by the address. The notation using depends on PLC manufacturer. This address is input output in memory of the PLC. It's just a number preceded by a letter indicating whether it is an input or output. With a large PLC having several racks of input and output and number of modules, each rack, the rack and modules are number as so input output is identified by its rack number followed by the number of modules in rack and number shows a terminal module. PLC controls circuits architecture, external communications to module and microprocessor to output and actuator to processor, sensor to input module. Architecture of PLC. We can see the architecture of battery to user program, RAM, CPU, clock, system ROM, data, RAM and input output unit, program panel. And it consists of central processing unit control all the processing with frequency 128 MHz and memory buffers and temperature storage ROM for system reference, RAM for users program and input output inference. System bases input output unit, it provides an interface between the system and outside world. The input output interface provides isolation and signal conditioning functions so that sensor and actuator can often be directly connected to them without need for the circuitry out devices, motor, starting coil, solenoid and valve, etc. Input device, temperatures, sensors, flow and sensor indicator encoders. Input and output unit. Electrical isolation from the external world is usually provided by means of output edge isolators, figure, and basic from the input channels. Like a PLC input protection diode, optocoupler, signal to CPU, voltage driver circuit, and input to unit like a digital to the compatible with the microprocessor of PLC 5 volts. However, signal is isolated possible in input voltage 5V and 240 like and 110 voltage and 240 voltage. The output it is with the digital level of 5 volts. Three types of outputs are available: relay type, transistor type and track type. And the input output, the three types of available: relay, the signal of PLC user operated relay so able to switch current of few amperes in the external circuit. The relay isolation, the PLC from external world can be used for AC and DC but they are slow. Transistor, it is used to Switch the circuit to external circuit. Opto isolator are used to provide isolation used for DC switching. Triac used for both AC and DC. As possible output from the output channels 240 and 100 mA and 100 mA to DC and 240 DC, 240 DC and 240 voltage and 2 amperes AC. Thank you.